All right, there was a new Supreme Court decision. I want to go over it. It is a very limited circumstance that any of this would happen, but some anti-abortion advocates, some pro-life advocates are suggesting that the people of Idaho might try to use this as a loophole around Idaho's strict abortion ban in order to get abortions in that state. Let's go over it. So the Supreme Court reinstated limits on Idaho's near abortion ban today. Idaho's trigger law banned nearly all abortions, and it went into effect after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. with Dobbs v. Jackson. The Department of Justice argued that in certain circumstances, Idaho's ban conflicts with the Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act, or the EMTA-LA, which mandates that doctors provide emergency, quote, stabilizing care, which they claim can, under certain circumstances, include abortion. So the ruling means that there was an injunction on Idaho's law put into place by a district court. It will remain in effect. The injunction prevents Idaho from enforcing its abortion ban when the termination of a pregnancy is needed to prevent serious harm to a woman's health, according to Justice Elena Kagan, who wrote a concurring opinion. When the court agreed to take the case in January, they paused the lower court's injunction, which allowed Idaho's abortion ban to remain in effect until they issued their ruling. Today, Idaho's ban, their law bans all abortions except for those deemed necessary to save the life of the mother in the case of rape or incest. During oral arguments, Justices Samuel Alito and Neil Gorsuch questioned the DOJ about why the EMTA-LA uses the phrase unborn child and asked how, in light of this, it would make sense to enforce or to force doctors to perform these abortions. So the bottom line is this, that it was determined by the court that in the rarest of circumstances, if there is a case that comes before doctors within the medical community in Idaho where it may not be the life of the mother, but the general health and safety and well-being of the mother is in question, that those doctors would be allowed to perform abortions in order to protect the health and safety of the mother, if not the life of the mother. So it gives those doctors a little more latitude and leeway in order to do that. I don't believe that this is a case that's going to allow for loopholes within the law. I would suggest that you might have someone in Idaho going to an emergency room and making certain claims that potentially would lead to those individuals demanding an abortion. I can't imagine that would be a situation that would come up very often. But then there it is. It has traditionally been held that, and even pro-life advocates, many pro-life advocates would advance the proposition that if the life of the mother is at stake, then an abortion would be an appropriate thing. It is a very rare circumstance that would come up. This kind of expands that to include the health and safety of the mother. The New Orleans-based 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals sided with Texas this year in its challenge to a same federal hospital law at issue in the Idaho case. The Biden administration appealed that ruling to the Supreme Court and asked justices to hold the petition until the court resolved the dispute in Idaho. So there is already another abortion case that is queued up based on this decision, a decision that has just been made in the case of Idaho. So I take the victories where we can get them. I want to see no abortions in the United States of America for a lack of people wanting them or desiring them or requesting them. There are plenty of other ways it occurs to me to prevent pregnancy nowadays. But despite all of that, this will be an election year issue that I expect will come up tonight. Oh, I expect that Jake Tapper and Dana Bash will bring it up jiffy quick because they believe that it helps Democrats and hurts Republicans. They believe it helps Joe Biden and hurts Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a pro-life champion in the sense of how many of you are. Donald Trump is a states' rights champion when it comes to the issue of abortion. Donald Trump put the individuals on the court that saw the elimination of Roe v. Wade, which was a good decision. I've long stood with the decision that it is ultimately up to the individual states. I would encourage my individual state to take a long look at the necessity of abortion practices in that given state anymore, considering modern technology and modern techniques and the modern ability that we have to prevent pregnancy on multiple fronts. I've long stated that I'm comfortable with a heartbeat bill. I'm comfortable with that. That's where I am. I understand why some people aren't. I do not understand why anyone would be in favor of second or third trimester abortions. I don't. I just don't. I disagree with abortions within, the framework of anything really beyond 10 weeks. I have a strong disagreement with that. But I don't understand how anyone could promote an abortion at 24, 26, 28 weeks when the viability of the child inside of the mother is no longer in question. There are Democrats that would suggest to you that the mother should have the ultimate decision to the point of birth, to which I say, well, then why not give her the ultimate decision after it? If it's murder then, it's murder then. You know what I'm saying? But this question, and I understand that it's causing a lot of consternation amongst those who celebrated the Dobbs v. Jackson decision. I don't believe that it's going to make very little difference in the grand scheme of things in the state of Ohio. It is a very technical issue at stake, and it's a very limited. There will be a very limited ability for those abortion advocates to create a loophole surrounding this decision.